Grand rises, everybody.
Yeah, so we are literally just saying good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah,
see the sun rising up.
Boy, this is not the best. This is not the best. I mean, normally if I start, I like to have an intro when we start.
Yeah.
But
it sets the theme, innit?
Yeah, but it's saying to me that your device is having trouble sharing your video. Try sharing it again. I mean, now I do that because no doubt it's natural. You're muted, yeah, but no doubt you're muted, darling.
Muted. Yeah, I was mumbling. My camera is just so bad today.
Is it your camera? Well, Julie sent her apologies this morning. Unfortunately, she can't be with us. She's actually working. She's actually working, and she's got some emails that she's got to get through. So I guess we're gonna have to. We'll do without her.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll be fine.
It gives us more space to talk.
What are you trying to say, Aston? What are you trying to say about my Julie?
Leave your Julie.
Look,
it's starting already.
Giving Julie a hard time.
As I said, don't let familiarity wreck your buck, you know.
No, it's true though. It's true.
Is it?
I just thought I'd let everyone know that on Monday, believe it or not, I'll be talking to Maccabee.
Yeah,
Maccabee, with Rudi Lickwood, the topical interactive chat show where you may end up being one of the guests.
Yes, I'd like to give thanks to everyone for all of their support.
Every Monday night, 8:30 p.m.
Yes,
interesting.
It's going to be an interesting one. I mean,
lyrical genius, consistent right throughout the years, man. Consistent. Oh,
and he's so worldly. That's what gets me. I just feel like I'm going to be talking to somebody who's actually traveled the world, who actually knows what's going on in society, and can articulate it.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning. What's it? Vanessa.
Let's see who we got.
And Carl.
Venetia.
Venetia.
Good morning, Venetia. How are you doing? Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Well appreciated.
Kellyan.
Kellyan is my brother.
Elders. Good morning, elders. Come on.
Excuse me? Who are you calling elders?
No,
Kellyan.
but hey.
Wait, let me just talk to my brother for a minute, please. Kellyan, I'm going to send you a link in your WhatsApp, and it will allow you to come into the studio. All right? So that you can join us this morning. All right? Do you want to grab hold of the link when I send it to you? Okay. Morning, Antigua.
Morning.
The Antigua. What?
Carl's saying that
yes, he's well traveled.
Well traveled, yeah.
Yeah, man. I buck him up on a few places. Where was it now? Netherlands, and the Gambia.
Swimming in Netherlands.
Wow. Okay.
I buck him up out there. I was in a coffee shop, and and he just happened to be passing through into the studio.
Okay. What a surprise.
Studio. It was called Run Records. They have a studio in the basement of there, you know, and he was there. Who else I met there? Vivian Jones was there. Who else now?
I spent a lot of time.
There's a few. There's a BBC Seaton. That's it. BBC Seaton. Yeah. He come and done a performance down there as well, you know. So
morning, Dave, Mr. Morrissey. He is or was a DJ for Kiss FM. It's nice to have somebody from broadcasters listening to us, and he constantly talks to the community and doing a lot of good works. Grand Rising, my friend. Grand Rising goes out to Donna, one of the Rants and Bants.
Morning, Donna.
A few Rants and Bants members in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Morning,
the sugar.
Morning, Shugs.
Morning,
Join me this
Shugs.
Shugs
morning.
here as well.
Thank
Shugs is
you.
here.
Yeah,
Morning.
She's
yeah,
there.
Morning,
yeah.
morning.
Big up
They're all
big up the
coming
whole
in.
family.
Family's
Yes.
starting
Well,
to arrive. They're starting to arrive. I think
all
they're all
right,
waiting.
all right.
Oh, look, Claire's just woken up as well. The coffee shop make you cough, innit, Aston? Jesus.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
The
Listen,
coffee shop
listen.
make you cough, man.
It was what happened because I was working there extensively. Okay, let me tell you how it got out. I work I was working for Ford Motor Company, but I was a prototype vehicle engineer, right? So what we used to do, we used to put new vehicles or new projects into the plant, which was in Belgium, but we used to stay in Maastricht, which is in the Netherlands, and
Okay.
Netherlands is more liberal than most places, you know. So, but I find this place where they play reggae music and have them studio and everything there, so. And I was as happy as bunnies. Happy
I'm
as
sure you
bunnies,
were.
man.
I'm sure you were. Antigua said,
Yeah,
say you
man.
hot up a lot of people with your mouth.
You're right.
Oh, wow.
You're right. Yeah. And
Well,
you
I
know,
quite enjoyed it.
you know the other funny thing about that is that I went to the returning festival in the Gambia, right? And who do I buck up? All the main people what was in that coffee shop there. We was all there on the beach. I said, wow, this is amazing. Amazing. Yeah, we was all up there, you know. Yeah, it's great. It's great, man.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I quite
It was
enjoyed
a
it.
lot of
The
fun.
Netherlands is actually Holland, isn't it? The Netherlands is actually
Yeah.
Holland.
Yeah.
They changed
But
their name.
they are. It's like Scotland. Like how UK you have Scotland. That's how the Netherlands is. You know. Yeah.
Please allow me to introduce you to my brother. This is my brother Kellyon.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing
My
this morning,
God.
bro?
Good. Grand rising. I don't have a background. So I apologize. Yeah.
No problem, brother.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rudi. Thank you so much. Natural Mystic, you come on the show with Yvonne on the Is you in it? I tell you.
Hello.
Oh, Natural, it's so great meeting you. I love your hot mouth when you come on the show, man. This woman, you are so dynamic, man. You just flip the script. You get me? You just. I'm like, I'm not ready for Natural, man. I'm not ready for the mystique. You get me? That's saying. So I know I've got a hot panel here.
It's Rants and Bants, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Just rant and pant it. You get me? But yeah.
This is definitely what you call rants and bants, and I totally understand, Kel, when you say that Natural Mystic is somebody who just catches you on the off, doesn't she?
Yeah, man. Just mash you up, man. Just mash up with the words. I'm like, I got no combat for this woman, boy. No combat. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. You know what I mean?
If you listen carefully now, you will see it. That is
listen, I'm not even getting into your serenading business, you know.
It's not serenading. It isn't. It's not. It's actually
really.
It's actually quite heartfelt. And the reason why I say that is because one of our prophets has been taken away from us. All right. They always take them. Of course, I am talking about John Magufuli, the ex-president of Tanzania. Yeah. I mean, it was the one place in the continent of Africa where he decided to stand up to the powers that be. He had his own personal view on the whole pandemic. and he told the international world.
Yeah, he was outspoken with it, which is good.
And the thing is that they actually got to him.
You know, thinking of singing that song. I was going to give my acapella on that. That's what came to me, and you just played it.
Oh my gosh!
I was thinking, you know what? At some point, I'm gonna want to sing this song this morning, and you went and you just played
Connection of brothers.
Yes, I. Made strong by the hand of the mighty, and forward in this generation, triumphantly. So won't you help me sing? Yes, I. Another song for freedom.
You really want people for just kind of them within their thinking.
Hold on. Let me check out with John.
You know what, Rob? As far as I'm concerned, you should stretch out your throat. You understand? It may hurt a few people's ears, right? I know. If it's coming from your heart, Rob, you should let it radiate.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
True that, man. True that.
It's nice to hear a man expressing himself in general, whether it's singing, laughter, or vocally, you know. So it's lovely to hear.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Don't be afraid to express yourself, man.
Better
listen,
out than in.
Listen. Talk your talk. Talk your talk. It might be right, might be wrong, but it's your truth. You always be in your truth at all times. Yeah, simple. Live your truth.
But for me, it was just how quickly they wanted to associate his death with COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially at a time where they're playing the scarcity game. And the scarcity game that I'm making reference to is over the past maybe 3 or 4 days. I don't know whether you've noticed, but we're hearing stuff like, oh, India won't allow us to get vaccines. Oh, we're running out. Oh, you know, and within the same breath, we're now going to start targeting people under the age of 50. So you better get your vaccine quick before we run out of vaccines, which is creating that
scarcity. Yeah.
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 And once a lot of people are very much, if it's in the news, then it's the truth.
Right.
Which we all know is not always correct.
Listen, one of the things news what came through, right? I know I'm smiling and everything, but this is the madness what's going on in Jamaica, right? They thief one of the box of the vaccine from the factory already. So as it landed, they just thief a box.
Wow.
Right?
I honestly don't understand why they would want to thief it. I really don't. When you consider the kind of crap that they've been putting inside of it, you know, the fetuses, you know, all of these other things that's going to allow people to, you know, discover your whereabouts, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you in a rush to steal something that you know little or nothing about? I mean, the whole thing that John was trying to do was this is the ex-president of Tanzania.
Yeah.
He was basically saying, unless our experts, unless our doctors,
that's right,
confirm this, nobody's about to be walking around wearing a mask.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nobody is going to be doing social distancing. Yeah. And the news that we were getting back in the UK was not saying there is death all over Tanzania. The only death we've heard of in Tanzania is John.
Yes, exactly.
It's a concern. It's a concern.
But then again, let's just look at the blueprint of what's been set over here already. All of a sudden, you can't get treatment for cancer, right? Or any operations. You know, all those have been put on hold or they've been restricted, right? And then as it has been reported, right, that any death that has been happening recently or over the last like 12 months, the majority of them have been associated with the COVID. You understand? So, their history shows what they're doing already, right? Inflation, and I will also share personally, right? I had a text last Saturday morning, and it was saying that I've been advised to quarantine because I have been found that I'm positive. I've got the virus. I haven't been nowhere near no center, no hospital, or tested or anything like that.
You haven't
And
even
I
been
got
tested.
a text.
You haven't
I
even
haven't
been
been
tested.
I was going to say,
I got a text from my local authorities on that. You understand? Right?
Wow.
So hold on. All right. Okay. Right.
How does that one work?
Exactly. Right. And it's got the letterhead. It's got the letterhead in and everything from my local authority.
Wow.
Let me find out now. Right?
I mean, at the same time, I mean, Carl has said that it's a personal choice, and I'm 110% behind that, Carl. 100, and I can totally understand why. Carl runs his own construction business,
right?
And no doubt he's got to communicate. He's got to, work within our society within a way that says he's got to be up close and personal. Yeah. And that's my thing, Carl. My thing is that situations such as your own can be quite easily used against you to force you into a situation where you're making a decision based on survival. I mean, I know we all want to survive. Nobody wants to catch the virus. But for example, when they say if you don't wear a mask, you can't go into a bank, all of a sudden you have to wear a mask. Not because you think that it's a health decision in terms of me catching a virus, but in terms of me just getting money.
Yeah. And I'm with you there. Yeah. Especially when you go shopping. That's the only time I will put it on. It's the fact that they won't let me into the supermarket or a shop to replenish my food, which keeps me alive, which keeps me healthy. But then, literally, I go in, put it on at the door, if that makes sense. And as soon as I get to a point where I'm off their premises, outside that door, it's straight back off. There you go.
Like that.
That's it.
Yeah. To be honest, like they invested money into a track and trace system, which none of us, let's not go back there. But in regards to the vaccine itself, I've never had any sort of flu jab or anything as an adult. I worked in the care industry. It was offered to me for many, many years. I refused it. They said that I'm a risk to the residents as much as the residents are a risk to me. As far as I was aware, I never killed anybody personally, like because I've sneezed on them or coughed on them or done anything like that. I think it's a matter of cleanliness. What I've discovered more than anything in regards to maybe the spreading of bacteria and germs in general is that when I go to the hospital or when I go to a care home, these people have on uniforms. They then leave these premises, go into cars, buses, public transport, wearing the same dirty uniform that they've had on in the hospital with people. All they want to do is put on a little plastic apron and some gloves and think that that's protecting them. As far as I'm concerned, that this contagion is that the way they say that it walks and spreads and carries. Any bacteria is going to walk and spread and carry if you do not clean yourself. Back in the day, nurses and doctors used to take their uniform off. They had their quarters. and they would come home in civilian clothes. Your uniform and your work clothes are for work. Leave them there. In any industry, my dad was a mechanic. He fixed cars. Do you think my mum was letting him come home in his greasy overalls and his greasy boots and jeans? It's like, I don't understand where the logic has gone.
You know what? I understand what you're saying, because when we were taught, when we grew up as kids, yeah. Do you remember? You used to have to come home. Your uniform, your school uniform was your uniform. And what did you have to do when you got home?
Get changed.
Put down your whole scores.
That's right. And no shoes past the front door. Certain things, but we just grew up with certain things because we knew how to kind of keep clean, if that makes sense, or how to even ward off bacteria, keep certain things out of your home. We're now approaching spring. How many people are doing spring cleaning? And when I say spring cleaning, I don't mean, you know, a little wipe down of this, that. I'm talking skirting boards, emptying the kitchen cupboard, getting on your hands and knees and sweating, make it a household responsibility to all look after your well-being in your home.
I think that's kind of got lost as well. I mean, I'll be honest, be straight up. I see it in my own household. That the sort of way, I remember my mum used to get us to do the skirting boards. Mum used to get us to wipe down the door frame, all them kind of thing there. And I think I don't know. I just think that we got a bit lax. I always come back to myself as a parent, and I think, you know, I hear the argument of, oh, I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. And to a certain extent, it's understandable that you wouldn't. But when we start letting go of these little things, you know, the spread of bacteria, as you said, by not doing those things, is so easily visible.
Yes.
Schools, hospitals, libraries, all these public places. Like, I go to certain places and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to touch certain things. Like, like hospitals especially, they're not clean. I see cleaners. I'm not dissing anybody who does that job, but there are levels, there are standards. Even the block where I live, I have to look at the cleaner sometimes and say to her, how have you missed that same piece of dirt for 4 months?
Oh, yeah.
But you know, it's a matter of pride.
Could it be the fact that the NHS was built on the back of the West Indians, or should I, no, let's say the Commonwealth coming to this country, right? Receiving very little pay, therefore the incentive to do a good job is not there.
Yeah, but when it comes to a matter of health and there's pride, like if like we got to have pride in what it is that you do, even if you don't like it. Have pride in self more than anything.
I would say that our parents' generation who came over from the Commonwealth here had pride in what they did. Yeah. And it's the follow-up behind that has begun to get lax and lax and lax and lax. And we don't have to do this and we don't have to do that. We'll do that every 2 weeks and whatever. Because I remember my mum came over here to learn to be a midwife. She had to go through 2 years of training to be a nurse first, then another 2 years of training to be qualified as a midwife. And she was the sister in charge of the ward for years. And I know what she was like at home. So she was just as bad at work. And people used to complain about her because she'd make sure that this was done and that was done and so on and so forth. And her standards were really, really high. So I know that the standards were high and they've now gone downhill.
Well, our standards have always been high from Africa.
Sorry, our standards have, but yeah.
No, but I'm saying that getting on that boat just raised up the standards even more because we were forced to labor more than ever before.
Yeah.
But our standards have increased. Now, there's two arguments here, or two conversations, and one naturalistic is talking about in terms of, as you said before, like wearing gloves. So I know in World War II, I think, they introduced gloves, and that's when things got worse. Because before they just had hands, they're washing their hands, and they'll carry on doing their job. But when they brought in gloves, they thought, I don't have to wash my hands.
Exactly.
That's when it increased, when they thought that it was a great idea to bring in all this surgical stuff, thinking that all this, what do you call it again? Anyway, just this kind of protective wear type thing, the barrier between you and your patient. And that made it even worse. So that's on a surgical basis. But then also, as you're saying, if you're talking about our people, we've always been clean people. You know, I've just got to say,
do you want to know where the proof of the pudding that lies? Right, it lies in the story of Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole.
That's right. That's right.
Now, the difference between Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole was that during the Crimean War, Mary Seacole, right, was at the forefront of the battle. Yeah,
that's right on the front line.
What she saw was that their hospitals, when she went into their hospitals, she found all of the soldiers lying in the shit and the mud and everything. And all she did was bring in a bit of cleanliness. And she took them off the floor, and she started to wash them down, and she cleaned them, and she cut back on all the infection that took place. Florence Nightingale, who was God knows how many miles away from where the actual war was taking place, right, still had those people then, lying in the shit and the mud and everything, right? And that was the work that she did. That was the only big difference between her and Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole. But not only that, but it's got to be said that Mary Seacole was a businesswoman, right? And when you go on the war site on where the Crimean War took place, you will find bottles of alcohol, etc., etc., etc. My girl used to
she had a little bar.
Used to set up a bar and thing while she was out there. She was making her money while she was
queen.
Yeah.
But it all boils down to the simple hygienic rules of just taking care and looking after and washing down oneself. There was one point that I wanted to bring up. Kellyon, you just now showed us a card. Yeah? Could you tell us a little bit more about that card, please?
Oh, yeah. I'm exempt from wearing a face covering. You can you can download it from the internet. Yeah, you can. It's hard to find out. You can.
It's true.
And then
just boom.
And you walk in, and then everything cool.
That's right.
So rather than argument unnecessary argument with anyone, is that from a legal thing that you can actually do, or is that just some sort of fad, Kellyon?
No. You can get it from it's from the government site, whatever. You know, they have made it allowable for you to actually do that. You know, according to your own needs, your own health, and you can use it, and they will let you go. They'll just leave you alone. So it's not kind of. I wouldn't have shown. I wouldn't have done it because it'd be like.
No, but I mean, we've just got to.
I get you.
Yeah, we just want to clarify, and we just want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's called the exempt card. You can type it in, and it's there. It's right
you get
there.
a lanyard. You get like a green thing with like yellow flowers, so it looks different around your neck, and people can identify. Target you for not wearing a mask.
No, because I mean, there's Jobsworths. I call him Mr. Jobsworth. Yeah. Who will approach you and who will try and tackle you about the fact that you may not be wearing a mask, or there are certain bits of protocol that's been put in place by the government. And I can understand they're doing their job, but I mean, if you're going to rebuttal anything, you want to know that you're standing on a solid foundation, as opposed to the emotions that one would wear on their sleeve. You know?
Yeah. I think if obviously I've not been approached as yet. You know, I'm going to do my daily shopping. I'll show it, and they let me in. It's cool. Mine is, as you know, I'm a singer as well, and I just can't be having a mask on where I'm breathing in my own stuff and carbon dioxide, and it's going to affect my voice. You know.
I'm going through the menopause. Trust me, like I've got foggy brain at the best of times. The last thing I need is to cut the circulation off from going into my head, because I stand in the supermarket. I'm like, why am I even here? Like, let alone having a mask on. So, I don't think it's just made me feel very restricted in so many different ways. And I've seen people panic, like, you know, oh, where is it? I haven't got it. I'm like, no, where are your keys? Where are your phone? Where's your pen?
I remember, you know what? I love that. I love that. Where your keys? You're worried about free mask, right? I remember there was one evening when I went shopping. I went to go to Sainsbury's, and it was like every other person I was walking past was wearing a mask, right? And I couldn't breathe, and I smoked.
Yeah.
And I was outside, and I couldn't wait to get back inside.
Yeah,
I was actually outside, and I felt like, oh, people can't breathe out here, and I started to get tense.
Yeah, it's a new form of anxiety that I've never experienced. Do you know what I mean?
Anxiety, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like someone wants to suffocate me. It just doesn't feel nice. It's too restrictive. My brain just doesn't function. I just become anxious. I start feeling weird around people. I just don't want this onset of these feelings to become my normality. I don't become scared of people. Like, I'm no different. Like, you never sneezed on me 2 years ago. Do not start sneezing and coughing on me yet now. Like, you know.
It's funny you should say that, because you don't like anybody getting too close, do you?
Monday morning. No. You don't have to touch me to say good morning, Peter. Go back to your desk.
Love it.
I saw that, right? I said, I want it raw. Peter, go back to your desk. You had the nasty.
Mental health.
I've got a few more of those up my sleeve. Don't you worry. It's not just Monday mornings I'm scared of. Trust me.
I think what's also a concern is that they made us a target, you know, and we're already going through our own nonsense here, be it mental health, brutality, pregnancy, a whole number of stats that we can talk about here, and they are not big enough. Obviously, the vaccine thing is like, well, hold on a minute, but also the mask thing, and obviously the issue of mental health as well. It's it kind of makes you wonder, like, you know, and also the use of language that they also use, you know. Stuff like a lockdown, like you're gonna lock you down, like what was this, prison or something, you know?
Yeah, I called it free up.
Have yourself up, you know. And this is like Matt Hancock. This is Boris Johnson. Just go take the jab. What you want to box me up? Jab me up?
You see, Boris is actually taking his jab today.
Boy, okay.
Yeah, he's actually taking his jab today. I mean, he came out 5 o'clock today.
Retractable needle.
Are we going to see him take it properly though?
I assume that that's the way that they're going to go, because they're going to say that if the head of a snake can take it, right, then once again, you know, it's like everybody else should take it. But I think what's more important to me than him taking the jab is that tomorrow we'll be talking to Michael Simons. And Michael Simons launched the All Nations Market in December, a website for online shopping with a delivery team, bringing your shopping direct to your home. Okay,
that's right.
He's a black entrepreneur, right, who has also set up a website for younger people trying to get through and to set up their business. And we'll be talking to him tomorrow morning between 10:15 and 11:15 on 15 Minutes with DJ Countryman and Rudi Lickwood. I think when it comes to a lot of our problems, I think we have to find our own solutions. And that's why it's hurt me so much, because I was crying last night that John Magufuli is now gone. You know,
that man, you know,
he was definitely solution driven. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
True that. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Just touch the button.
Select
Don't need to touch the button. Kels will do it instead.
Rewind.
Yeah, man.
Remember growing up to this, Kellyon?
Yeah, yeah, man.
Man. Foundation. We was on a sweet time, man. When I don't know, I was just exposed to everything, Black history, everything out there, political awareness, everything. Beautiful.
The thing is, we don't even know how conscious we were. This was just sweeping over our heads as we were kids growing up.
Yeah.
And the music has twisted, and it has turned to something that I'm struggling to even comprehend. I mean, Natural was brought up the whole thing of this curfew. I mean, we never had curfews for boys when we were growing up because we had that respect for our sisters. I mean, what's happening there?
I'm just stunned, and that's why I kept that my message is that I was always told to be able to defend myself against anybody, but have your wits about you to a certain extent. But then I kind of had to swing that around, being a mentor to girls. I don't want young girls to have to be able to defend themselves or box or think they have to carry a weapon or something to that extent. I need boys or males to kind of appreciate who we are in our form. And would they want their sister or their mum or their own child, daughter in the future, to kind of be approached or accosted or spoken to the way that some of these brothers are speaking to the girls these days. And this learned behavior is now becoming the norm for girls and boys. It's acceptable. They're not challenging certain things. They feel that they have to submit to certain types of behavior in order to keep men happy. Not on my watch.
No. Listen, I covered this on my show yesterday, right?
Let's talk, bro.
When men, right, are put into a position of that they're being found guilty of somebody else's act, and they're blanketing the whole thing, right? And then the thing what really got to me is that women, right, are jumping on board with this, right? Or they've been given the voice. And I was hearing it for about 3-4 days, and it was actually disturbing me, right? To the extent of that I had to bring it up to say, look, man, stand strong, right? But at the same time, be aware of how you're presenting yourself as well, right? You got these youngs. I'm going to start from the young people. Unfortunately, I'm going to start from the young people, right? In the sense of that they're going there and they do look intimidating, dressed in the black, right, with the hoodie and the cap, and there's no identification, right? Show your face. Show your face.
You can wear a mask now. You don't need to show your face. They've been given a license.
That is the
thing.
There's the contradiction. There's the contradiction right there. Okay, I 100% agree with what you're saying, Aston. 110%. But then they're asking everyone to dress up like Muslims now. Everybody wants to be. I cover up them fears now.
Right. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something now. Right. Even how we stand and how we are presenting ourselves, and it's not only from the physical looking, the mentality. It sets the precedent already. If you go out there scared, guess what? You're gonna get that dog come to you and bite you. You understand? But if you are confident and you stand up strong and say, what, that dog is gonna think twice before they come and bite you. And it's the same with human beings as well.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from in that respect. But I don't want to fear young black men. I don't want to fear anybody. I don't want to fear anybody.
Shouldn't.
But I live on my own. I'm a single woman. I've lived in areas where I haven't known a soul, in that respect. I'll move into a new town and just get on with life. I go out late at night. I go out early in the morning. I dress kind of how I want within reason. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to invite attention, for want of a better word.
But what do we say to our 15-year-old girls who are just coming into puberty, realizing that they're turning into womanhood and wanting to show as much leg, as much arm, as much breast, that is going to attract the attention that they don't want. I think it's one thing to say that we should be able to dress the way that we want to be able to dress.
Yeah, but
have a real conversation. Have a real conversation with them.
Let's keep it real. Let's not skirt around the issue. There's a time and a place for dressing a certain type of way. And deep down inside, I was a 15-year-old girl. I knew that when I wore a belly top or a short skirt, that boys were going to look at me. That was what I wanted them to do. But the difference was, I didn't want them to touch me. And if I use the word no, that I feel like you're being inappropriate in regards to wanting to touch me, then I can draw a boundary. But in regards to what somebody can say, I can't license what somebody's saying. Do you see what I'm saying? I have to grow a thick skin or change the way I dress and not be around types of people that actually do that. Or my boys, or the boys that I was around in the crowd, they need to pull each other up occasionally and say, all right, allow it now, enough. You've made a few sexual comments about the way she's dressed. You know you like her. She's already said allow it. Just move on. You're making everybody... Monday morning. No. You don't have to touch me to say good morning, Peter.
Well, it's Friday. So.
It's Friday.
Getting ready for Monday.
That's
morning, right?
Is your did you think?
But point taken. They don't have to touch you. They don't have to touch you. But I think I do believe that our sisters do have to walk with a bit of that in their head.
All right. Let me just really quick.
Of course, come in, Kenyon. Say what you got to say.
We know that we've got what's called TV programming. Nonetheless, media programming is being heightened. Nonetheless, Instagram and selfies. Yeah, these guys have been energized. They're being fed to actually just do what they want to do. And because it's deep what you said as well, because now we're also talking about entertainment and music. And we know who actually has been behind that. It's been the people that actually want to make money out of our creativity.
Yeah, but let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Let's also understand that they want to fill the prisons.
Well,
where it's going.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a chessboard, isn't it? It's a system. They're looking at it, going, "Oh, let's do this. Let's do that movie. Oh, there's black people. Yeah, they're melanin. Yeah, they're gonna go crazy over this. They know what they're doing."
Yeah, I mean, they kind of judge us as well. You know, the way we dance, carnival, that whole ethos of who we are. You know, we celebrate life. We actually enjoy music. We enjoy being sexual beings. Quite frankly, let's keep it real. We're provocative in some of the things that we do and the way we are with each other. But we know our boundaries as a community, you know, to a certain extent. But what I don't want to happen in regards to this, I don't want to divide and conquer, because this is another level of dividing male and female. Okay, we know they done it a few years ago. Single mums, giving them flats, all of that sort of stuff. This is just the next phase of divide and conquer. It's actually making girls or instilling a fear into girls to not like men or not be around men, where I think that this is a time that we actually need to embrace them and look at what they're fearing. If there is a curfew, if they are being judged in that way, we need to rise them up. In the same way that we're empowering women, we need to make sure that we're standing next to our men, because without you lot, there is no us, and without us, there is no you. We have to actually unify through this, what they're telling us to divide and be scared of. I've had my issues with men, domestic violence and all of that, but it's not going to stop me from loving my black brothers. That was just one, you know, out of many. If that's the case, then I know what character to avoid or how to push someone's buttons in that respect. But it's never going to stop me from loving you and wanting me to support you in what it is you do, so you have that confidence to nurture your family, to raise your daughters, to raise your sons. You know, definitely, I don't want it to be a divide and conquer here, and I feel that that's what can happen.
I find that was quite an interesting thing that you said just now, and that was about pushing buttons. Because
I do know how to push men. Of course, I do. I'm going to be honest. I know how to push men's buttons.
And that is what some females have done in the past, and it has caused a lot of havoc within the community in terms of manipulating somebody else's emotions, and especially a male, okay, who is inexperienced, right? And who doesn't really have the sort of maturity to handle rejection. Yeah. So depending on what type of child upbringing they've had, they lash out verbally or physically. You know, and it's something that should be addressed by parents, I think, in terms of emotional maturity and the sort of conversations that we don't have, as opposed to what color are your fingernails, what dress are you going to wear, do you know what I mean, what trainers are you going to get, you know, real things in that respect. But just for a moment, I'd just like everybody to know that within the next 15 minutes, we will be leaving Facebook. Okay, we will be coming off Facebook.
No.
And we will be going onto YouTube.
You sure it's not the other way around?
In the next 15 minutes, we will be coming off Facebook.
And going on to YouTube.
And we will be, and they will be able to catch us on YouTube. So I suggest that if you're watching us or you know where the link is, right? I'll put the link in here for you in a moment. You may want to transfer over to YouTube. All right. You may want to do that. Just for a second though, what I'd like to switch or move across to is the younger generation and just how far they've really come in these times. I mean, there's a young man. I think Astrid knows more about him. Romani Wilfred.
Yes.
Who aced the IQ test. Are you guys aware of him?
No, I've seen some postings about him. Yeah,
you've seen some postings about this young man. I mean, he has an IQ more than, from what I've been told or from what I've read, actually, than Mr. Einstein himself.
Wow, he's got good teeth.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. What I would do? Let me go back in.
They're not as nice as yours, though, Kellyon.
Sorry. Let me.
Don't fall for it, brother. Don't fall for it.
There he is. That young man there. Exceptionally intelligent.
Yes.
According to the BBC, Wilfred scored higher than the scientist Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, physician Stephen Hawking at the age of 11 by achieving 162. 11. The young student who studies at a comprehensive school in East London is considered a genius and the smartest boy in England. You know,
so tell me, why did I have to dig to find that? Why is it not plastered across everywhere? The news? We always see the bad stuff about our boys and our young boys and all the rest of it. How comes this isn't up there?
I think we do know the answer to that, though.
No, I think that's just an assumption. That's just an assumption, and we want to move it away from an assumption, and we want to bring it out to the fore.
We're not celebrated in that way. We're not meant to achieve anything. Let's just keep it real. We're not supposed to be thriving with everything that they've thrown at us since time began. Is the only way that I see it, to be quite honest with you. We keep on getting better. No matter what they throw at us, we prove them wrong. Not like we have to prove them wrong. We are not designed to fail. Simple. We are designed to win. That's just in our DNA. It's not even explainable. We have a fight and a fire in us that nobody else has.
And I actually have to say this, but they do control our success on the media.
Of course they do.
Of course. I know the real McCoy was the thing to watch in the 90s. You get me?
And why can we not watch it? Why have we been protesting for 20 years to bring a series back that suddenly they can't find?
Initially, they said that it got bun up, innit?
Yeah.
They said the library got bun up.
Really?
You know?
Oh, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
One of the things that, as well, is that we've been conditioned, and as you rightly said, Kelvin, the programming, and we look and we identify and unfortunately that we do put it into ourselves, that we look for the negative and we focus, and that has been our trigger. Like when we see this young man, we should be having that name, just like how we can say Einstein. We should be saying this young man's name as well, right? So when we talk about intelligence now, that should be our new level of conversation. Yeah. So when we talk to our young people, put that young man as an imagery into their minds and their eyesight of this is the level that you should be attaining now, right? It's just like when we have an athlete, right? Usain Bolt regularly under 10 seconds, right? Now, if you look at the athletes over the last years that he has been up there, most of them are achieving that when they're coming into the finals. They're achieving that near on or under 10 seconds, right? So you know what? That is the standard. What that is out there now. That's the new benchmark. That's the new world record we should be aiming for, and that's it. All our conversation should be just on that young man there, sir. Right there, sir.
Just need to make sure that we actually harness and embrace him as a village, and he doesn't get sold to the plantation and then used in that respect. You know, I think, you know,
he will get sucked up into an institution. It's not black run or black led, because we don't. Because remember, I know we're all aware, as Kenyon was saying earlier on, but I think we need to just lay it out. Remember, we're in a relay race and we're 400 years behind.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that we're not good businessmen. It's just that we haven't got that. We haven't got that building block that's ahead of us, right? So when it comes to finance, they're 400 years ahead of us, and that's what we have to catch up on.
Yeah. Well, my concern is that when we're doing petitions, there was a petition with that lady called Blessing that died, I think, last year, that got brought back up because of the whole Sarah thing. Somebody started a new petition, and the family were complaining, saying that who gave you the right to start this petition? Okay, and I was pulled up for that because I shared it. I said, well, for one, no one's going to go and check up a petition to see if it's disingenuous. No one does that. You just see it and you just sign it. But my concern is this, is that even if I was wrong or people wrong to send it round, why can't we be wrong and strong? Why can't we get to the 100,000? Why are we not actually petitioning for the very thing that we actually want to see happen? Even if it doesn't get to Parliament, or if it does, that it's not questioned, at least our unity is not in question, of which we can get those 100,000 people and say, just give me £1. We got 100 grand, of which now we can now put towards our development and our growth.
My brother, I love you. My brother, I love you. My brother, I love you, because we're not talking anymore. I'm getting fed up of the talking. You understand? Because it's time that we started doing, instead of just moaning and frigging complaining, right? And we actually do, instead of waiting for others to do for us. We have to do it. We have to do it.
The solutions are, there are things out there to facilitate us actually helping each other. We've got our own political parties that are coming up. We've got things that are actually for us, by us. And yeah, albeit we have to do a little bit of research to maybe find this stuff. Maybe we're not good at promoting and advertising. It's getting slowly but surely better. Admittedly, there is more sharing and awareness happening amongst us in more WhatsApp groups and whatnot. And yeah, like we said, the next step is to take certain actions. There are lots of things happening behind the scenes, is the way that I feel at the moment. I think we're like a bit of a coiled spring, and some people are kind of waiting to kind of, you know, go for it. And they are getting support, but we need to support more.
That's what is true, but we can't even do a simple exercise to reach 100,000 petitions. There's about 2.9 million of us here in this in the UK.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think what it is, I'm not saying that petitions don't work. I just remember somebody a few months ago that I was watching. I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop, so I won't until I get the nod. But he basically said we need to use all forms of weaponry in regards to the war that we're in. Okay, so it's marching, it is petitions, it is demonstrating. They like do everything, but there's always that follow up as well. Like, we have to make sure that if we marched on Sunday, we've got a plan for Tuesday, Wednesday. So, like, it's not just that one thing.
Right. Natural. I'm talking about simple exercises. Just a simple exercise of reaching just 100,000. We can't even do that. I've not seen it as yet, unless we get outside help. You know, if we're talking about stats in the community of, let's say, the Asian community, their money circulates 29 times. And the Jewish
do you think, sorry to interject, do you think that our level of suspicion and mistrust in regards to everything has now filtered into our own community even more, where there's that level of just mistrust and not knowing? Why do we need to know if it's like, to a certain extent? Why don't we just do and just support without questioning? But do you think that we've been burned so many times that some people are now scared to even take that next step? They don't want to put their name on a petition because they don't know where it's going to go. They're not registered at an address. Do you think those things are coming to play in the background?
Yes.
I could be. I mean, I'm not personally thinking that far. I'm just seeing it as.
I think that's the thing, is that we don't think far enough. We and it's not our fault when you consider that most people are just less than a month away from being broke. You just have to, you know, I'm surprised how many people have survived the pandemic this far, right? So it's difficult to plan 5 years, 50 years, 100 years ahead. But because we are 400 years behind, our counterparts are doing just that. When the Asians came here in the 70s and they were kicked out by Idi Amin, bless you, big man, right? By Idi Amin, they came here with a plan. Right? Our parents came here with the intention of grabbing some money and going back. It was a short-term plan.
Subservient.
Very short-term plan, whereas everybody else doesn't have short-term plans. And in between that time, we, as our generation, have been sold the house, the picket fence, and the car. Nothing more. We've now reached that point where we're starting to think and talk about legacy.
Yes.
We're now having to look at, you know, how do we get further? So we have to question, why is it, are we not trusting each other? Why is it we can't build? Why is it we can't push forward for whatever reason? And these are the things that we have to unwrap, and these are the things that we have to sort out amongst ourselves, and very quickly.
And we have to go deeper, like you're saying, Rudi. We have to go to a deeper level in order to unravel, in order to be able to do that. It's not just about, you know, and I understand what you're saying, Kelly, about, oh, why can't we get to 100,000? It's about looking behind that. Well, why are we not doing that? What is it that is stopping us from doing that?
And then our marketing strategy takes that into consideration.
Yes.
So
and that goes back to that question on Wednesday night. If your friend in need asks you to borrow £1,000, would you lend it to them? And in my mind, I never looked at it as like I was lending that person £1,000. I looked at it, I'm investing into that person.
That's right.
So even if I lose my investment, my mind thought process is different. I'm now not shouting at the person saying, I lent you money, you need to give it back to me. With an investment, with risk, you got to take a calculated measure. So if someone says it's an investment into me and I'm going to try and develop this and do this with what you're giving me, that's an entirely different conversation. So I think we need to start with changing our vocabulary and the words we're using in order to start to build trust. As soon as someone says, you can trust me, you instantly mistrust them because you haven't given me a reason to mistrust you. So let's work on 100% trust until I actually do something that makes you mistrust me. And if I don't do anything that makes you mistrust me, we're always working at 100 then, isn't it?
I hear that. And on that note, we're just about to leave Facebook, right? And we will be transferring over to YouTube. And within the next minute or so, could you just allow people to know where they can get hold of you, Aston?
You could join me on Thursdays on www.galaxyaforwe.com at 10 a.m.
Excellent. And Astrid, early mornings, could you give them
early
times,
mornings?
dates?
Yeah, if you just look me up, Astrid Phillips on Facebook, and you'll find me there. And I do mindful mindset meditation, 7:30 weekday mornings, and then 8:30 on the weekends.
And you know the little cottage industry that's taking over your house. I mean,
you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. Just Google me. I'll be honest, it's the easiest way because then all of my different links come up. So you can type in Natural Mystic, which is Natrel, and then Mystic, or Lescha Marshall-Witter, which is the most unusual spelling of my name. So there's only one of me.
Lescha.
That's it. Can't go wrong. You're going to find my face somewhere on a profile, trust me.
Kellyon, could you please tell people about the driving school? You've only got a couple seconds, bro.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm on Clubhouse, by the way, if you have the Clubhouse app. And okay, cool, right? And my show's called The DNA of Your Voice. The DNA of Your Voice. Yeah. 9:30 on the Thursday. Kel's driving school. Yeah, just type that in on Google.
Give them the spelling, Kel.
Which one? On the Kel driving school?
Yeah.
Kel, Kel, with not Z-S, Kels, driving school. Kel's driving school. That'll be Google, that'll be on the web, that'll be Facebook, Instagram. Kel's driving school, you'll find me. Yeah.
And you put Rudi Liquid into your browser, right? Enough things will come up. Facebook, have a fantastic weekend. And please do catch us here once again on there's my phone, right? We're out of Facebook.
All right. Bring it back.
Rewind.
Exactly. Put my YouTube face on.
YouTube, how you doing, YouTube? We day out with you. You day out with us.
Hi, YouTube.
All right.
YouTube.
That's it. Grand Risings.
I like that.
Exactly, man.
Like it.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Book your ticket.
Yeah.
Book your ticket, man. Book your ticket.
And on
It's all to Zion, beautiful Zion. Yes, sir.
It's nice to see you guys are feeling the new format that we've developed here on our online site. Rudi Liquid Rants on a Friday. We're joined by my younger brother Kellyon. Coach Astrid is with us. Of course, Lescha, Marshall-Witter. I call out your whole name, and my co-host, Mr. Matapha Jones, man.
Blessings.
So it's not the greatest morning that we've had, especially after losing one of our prophets. They're constantly taking them away from us, man. Constantly taking them away from us. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to emerge now. I mean, now that it's a female who's running Tanzania now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just gone past International Women's Day on the 8th of March. So yes. It's about time we kind of got the opportunity and stepped up.
Isn't that amazing though? As you say that International Women's Week has now come here, and just over the past month, black females have made one big hell of a change. Society. I mean, Piers Morgan had to take a walk because he couldn't shut up.
You know he's back though, don't you?
I know. I thought this would be a good time to actually bring that up. I mean, he was interviewing somebody last night, I believe. You know, and that's why people don't understand when we talk about systemic racism and why black people can't be racist. From the time that Piers Morgan can walk into another job, having walked out of one, just like that, you know, is an indication of where we find ourselves today. Because I don't think any of us could have walked off, you know, a live morning TV show like that, and then found ourselves in a job less than 7 days later.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the new job on a network or something that we is it Popular Network that he's on?
ITV, man. On ITV. He's back on ITV.
Okay. I don't watch televised visually, so you're thinking.
I think it was one of the Nolans he interviewed.
Was it Colleen?
I think it may have been Colleen. Yeah, I think it was Colleen.
Yeah, it was Colleen.
Oh, he's jumped back on that bandwagon because didn't she have a whole history and bangarang of things in the news?
But isn't that what they like to highlight? The fact that you know you got knocked down and you stood up again, and you know, and then you get celebrated because you got through all that shit that you went through.
Yeah, but they don't.
We can celebrate too. We can celebrate too. We can celebrate too.
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we could celebrate too.
Yeah.
Love Judy Love for what she's been doing. Push that barrier, rude guy. Go on.
I love all of them. I mean, Judy, obviously, because she's in my genre of entertainment, which is comedy, you know, and I've always felt that comedy is an ideal way to put across a message with a spoonful of sugar.
Makes the medicine.
I like that. Spoonful of sugar. Exactly. Yeah, I know that.
As long as it's not white sugar, then we're all right, yeah?
You know what? It took me a while to wean myself off that, you know?
See?
Yeah, I like that.
Wow. You know lies.
If we had sugar in our house, it was always brown sugar, never white sugar. Always.
But everything's
too sweet.
Listen, I'm fighting at the moment with my mother because she basically has Alzheimer's, right? And she just take upon the sugar that, and she's eating it raw out of the jar. And I'm thinking, Lord, I've got to fight. I've got to hide it. I have to hide
Listen,
it.
man,
at the
you
moment,
talk about that. What about the people?
It's just one of those things. One of the steps.
What about the people that use Nestle's milk on crackers?
No comment.
You used to do it.
I used to dip my hardo bread and jam in the Nestle's milk.
Whoa!
I know. Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one. Yes.
Yeah,
we have the hardo bread and just pour the Nestle's milk all over it and eat it like that.
Yeah, but admittedly, my mum had a bit of a sugar scare a little while back, and we discovered a gentleman who actually reversed his diabetes. I think we all know who he is. And I got some advice and information from him about 4 years ago, and me and my mum slowly started to implement.
Are we talking about Dr. Sebi, by the way?
No, Lyndon.
No, Lyndon.
Yeah, Lyndon Wissart.
I've heard of the name.
Yeah, he reversed his diabetes with no medication in 105 days.
Okay.
And he was off the chart. So basically he was like 2 hours away from death in regards to when he got his diagnosis, and he decided that he was going to go totally natural. So he's a chef, a trained chef, qualified, worked in the industry a number of years, but we literally went home and got rid of all the white food, got rid of starchy foods, got rid of the carbs, completely changed my mum's diet around, and in less than 6 months she went back to the doctors and they were like, what diabetes?
So
it's really with you need to want to do it for yourself, and that's all I can say. I changed my diet due to health reasons. Nobody could have told me that they were going to benefit me the way that it has, but you've got to want to do it for yourself. It's like smoking. People can tell you to stop smoking for years. Until you're ready to do it,
it's not going to happen.
That's right. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
My ex-wife was No, my ex-wife, she was a smoker, right? And you could tell her temperament by how she smoked that cigarette and how long it would last, you know. And I say, okay, it's not a good time to approach you. What do you mean? It's all right. It's all right, dear. It's all right, dear.
I love the body language reading, Astrid. I love it, Rob. I love it.
Yeah. No, it's true. And the funny thing is, right? Is that I always said to myself, I'm not going out with no smoker, right? But hear what? That personality, the smile, and everything just captured me to Rockstone. I just gone through that. Man.
Just overlooked it.
Yeah, man.
I can understand why people wouldn't overlook it. I mean, I've had my own grandson coming here and saying, "You go, Uncle. Granddad, you're stinking. You smoke, and you know what I mean." And I get it. I do get it, but it's such an ingrained habit. It was something that I grew up around. I mean, Ken put me straight if I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? I used to go and steal my dad's cigarette when it was in the ashtray. You know what I mean? Get a big man alive. Because he used to smoke senior service. Yeah. If anyone remember that.
With the sailor on it. Yeah.
White box. The white little box. It was called senior service, and that.
My mum used to smoke. Is it San Moritz, like the skinny ones?
Oh, I remember that. That was a sign of sophistication. That was
And then they came. Some of them were pink, and some of them were green. You can get colourful ones, so they didn't look like cigarettes. They looked like candy sticks.
There was more.
More. That's right. So my first experience of nicotine was when I ate a packet of cigarettes.
And
I've got the pictures to prove it.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, don't do that. I'm not condoning smoking or eating tobacco.
But then we're talking about, which is quite healthy, the fact that we're talking about how we should nourish the body.
Hold on.
Yeah, you've asked us to stick a pin, Aston.
Did I?
Am I the only one who only heard hold on?
No, I heard it, so I just held on.
I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
And stick a pin too. You know what I mean? Stick it.
I was going to say, my auntie used to hate when we used to go and visit, because we used to go and visit on a Sunday, and my auntie smoked. So the house, she went and smoked outside, but whenever we left the house, this is before you had mobile phones and all the rest of it, she'd have to wait for an hour, because it used to take us an hour to get there. She used to have to wait for an hour. Then she'd call the house and say, "Where have you put my cigarettes?" Because we used to hide them so she couldn't smoke. And we put them in the oven. We put them at the top of the cupboard. We put them in the garden. Where we always used to hide our cigarettes. Always.
You know what?
So she eventually stopped smoking because she could never find them. She'd always have to go and buy a new packet.
If I was your uncle, I'm telling you, you lot would be getting no Easter eggs. That's all that's
We'd get enough from elsewhere, so it didn't matter. we weren't smokers in our unit. We weren't smokers. Whereas some of my aunts and uncles and all the rest of it would smoke and drink and all the rest of it. We didn't do that, and I didn't grow up around that. So anytime someone's smoking, I can smell it. My nose is that sensitive. I understand that. So it's like, I don't want to be around that. Sorry.
But it's interesting that you say that. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you, Lescha.
No, I was going to say that when I was younger, my mum and dad smoked, but and I used to go to the childminders and stuff, and we used to walk up and down Harlesden High Street, and everyone would know we're in it. She's got the big double buggy, and there's like 15 kids trailing behind her of all different shades, sizes, and whatnot. And we'd stop and talk to people on the road, and she'd be at the butchers, and people were like, "Oh, aren't you cute?" and all that sort of stuff. So one day I decided for the whole day that I was going to tell everybody that my mum and dad didn't buy cigarettes from the shop; they made their own.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I was never told that what they were doing was wrong, because it was every day in my house, something I grew up with. You couldn't explain to a child what was illegal. You know what I mean? So it was,
that kind of makes me think of why, when we were watching the Lovers Rock the film that we saw the other day, Small Axe. I'm talking about what's his name? What's his name again? Who put it together?
Oliver McQueen.
Mr. McQueen. And we saw that scene where the guys then were building up the spliff in the house. Remember when they rolled back the carpet and everything, and then they started to build up the spliff in the house, and we knew that as children that never used to go on. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, when you think about it now, we can see why he kind of brought that into the scene, right? Because I mean, I grew up around people who was building up all that, and I didn't know what they were building up and stuff like that at the time. But you're going to want to emulate those people, your elders, those around you. You know what I mean? So
he didn't know the flex was like, we never rolled the carpet back. If you drop something on the carpet, you went and got the vacuum cleaner and the stocking foot, and you put the stocking foot over the end of the vacuum cleaner, and then you mop up everything you need. Then you slide the stocking foot over to you catch what you got, and then everything's good and ready to go. You just pick out the fluff.
You see now? These are all the little
anyway.
But we were talking about, we're actually talking about the body, and how we should how we should look after it in terms of, and how we can help to readdress diabetes. Yeah, but what about the brain? What about the brain in terms of what you consume? Because each and every morning, one of the things that Coach Astrid always asks is, what are you going to read this week?
No, that's good. It's good.
What are you going to read this week? What one thing are you going to do differently? And I don't believe knowledge is power until you take action.
Applied knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you have to take action on what it is what you've got in your head. There's no point in being there and you're not doing anything with it.
And I did that, and it gave me a brain tumor. Sure. So let it out.
Is it? Oh no.
Sorry, it's not funny, I know, but literally, I'm living proof. If you hold it in, it's going to come out somewhere. It's going to manifest itself as a disease or something where you're not feeling well. Mine just happened to be a brain tumor, which was basically telling me I need to get a lot of stuff out of my head.
The thing is, I mean, like, obviously, you know, you two gentlemen, Astrid as well, you know, you made a career around expressing yourself, letting it out, right? And I'm sure, right? I mean, you can, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you actually do your performances, don't you feel that bit of relief when you actually doing that, when you've expressed yourself, you know?
Aston.
So some of us never actually do that. We never ever do that.
Aston.
Yes.
I know it's a release.
Why is it why you got to work on your tonality sometimes, you know, because gone into something else. We're going into the red room.
I know it's a release, bro. And it's not, for me, it's not about venting, it's about keeping it real with real people, because I do get an opportunity to or at least I used to have the opportunity of going up and down the country and confronting all the stereotypes and misconceptions that people had of the Black community as a whole, and I was able to address them in front of them. You know, even if I was up in the north, it didn't really matter, because what I've learned is that people are people, and that it's very few people who are controlling the majority. So the narrative is never run by the working class. I mean, the most uneducated people in the UK are white working class people.
Yeah.
And
but it's funny sometimes when you can tell them rubbish and then they just go along and believe it. And let them go out with their foolishness.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see. But it's good. Thank you very much, people, for joining us. We've given you a little extra that most people wouldn't get from us on a Friday. Normally we have this kind of this little bit of banter amongst ourselves. After the show, and sometimes it can continue to about 11 o'clock, and I have to go to them. Like, get out!
I'm opening my coffee shop after this, by the way, just so you all know. That's what happened behind the scenes. The coffee shop opens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just letting you.
What's the flavor coffee for today then?
Just herbal tea, darling. Herbal tea.
Herbal tea.
Okay.
Hold on. Are you an advocate for the hemp tea?
No.
Okay.
Keep it real. Like it's like saccharin. Like if you're gonna take sugar, have sugar. Don't have saccharin. Don't substitute it with a man-made kind of substitute. Basically, just do the real thing. And if you're gonna do it, do it.
Leary's asking, could I have the name of that man who reversed?
I will. I don't know if I can put it in the chat, but it's Lyndon, Lyndon, and Wissart, Wissart.
Okay. Lyndon Wissart.
So hopefully you've got the name.
There is another thing.
So he's put Wissart. Wissart is W-I-S.
There is another person.
Say that again, Lescha.
W-I-S-S. So sugar, A-R-T.
Okay.
So I spelled it incorrectly.
Yeah, you put F for Freddie, and it's S-S, sugar. Sugar.
Oh, honey.
W-I-S-S. W-I-S-S-A-R-T.
That's right.
And you got me wanting you.
I remember that tune.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. If you just pop his name, Amazon, Google, Facebook, he's everywhere.
Okay.
All right. So hopefully,
I hope he appreciates the plug.
I'm sure he will.
And get enough attention now.
Yeah, he's got plenty of attention. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time that we wind up. Actually, busy day ahead. I myself have got some reading to do, so that I can prepare for another person who I will be interviewing on a Monday. But this Monday coming, I'm sure that I mentioned it earlier on, but just for those people who didn't
come in late.
You know how we just get late comers. On Monday, I will be talking to
Keeping It Real with Rudi Lickwood, the topical interactive chat show where you may end up being one of the guests.
Yes, I'd like to give thanks to everyone for all of their support.
Every Monday night, 8:30 p.m.
So please do tune in on Monday. All right, I'll be talking to the great committee. But in the meantime, I will be reading Basil Mead's book. I believe you know Basil very well, Kellon.
He actually contributed to how I perform and entertain. He's actually the man behind it as well. I was in his choir, and I was in a gospel choir, so he showed me how it was to entertain on that platform. So I emulated it. So it'd be great, if you ever invite him, or if you are, I'm saying, then I'll be on that. If you want me to, and I'll be like, yep, this is the man that took me to carve me out. So yeah.
Could you tell us the choir that you were singing with, please?
Yeah, London Community Gospel Choir. They're actually having their anniversary. Right? Yeah.
Right.
Mute yourself, Aston. Carry on, Kellon.
Yeah. They're going to have their 40th anniversary next year. My only concern was, you have to be vaccinated to get on the boat. That was my only concern. So just get back to me. Because if you do, I don't think I'll be on that trip. But anyway, we can go past that. But yeah.
No, we don't have to go past that. No. You're talking about morals and principles here. Because the thing is, I've been approached by P&O Ferry to do quite a considerable amount of work this year. They're only going to be traveling around the UK currently, and I've rejected it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I can talk my truth.
Yeah, that's what we want you to do.
Yeah. Rant and Bants and rant it away. Yeah. So So the 4th year, I was in the choir since 1997. It was Lana. Lana actually brought me into the choir.
Lana is my sister.
Yeah. Our late sister Lana. She actually brought me into the choir, and that's where I was able to expand in my ability of singing, and then introduced Mead. And I've been doing my thing since then as well. So
travel the world actually.
Yeah, I've traveled. Yeah, so to go a bit deeper, I've been throughout the UK. I've been in Europe, singing with the choir. I've been also outside of Europe as well, singing also for celebrities, and also outside the choir. I've done work as well, done things on stage, on live TV and stuff like that. I've got the picture to show it, and it's all there. So I've
what about the tutoring you do?
Oh, the actual tutoring. I've actually put it in the Facebook, by the way. Yeah, I've put it in there. I'll try to put it in the YouTube as well. But I also have an Eventbrite website as well, of which you can actually, on a Sunday, I do teach vocals and the breathing technique. And on the Thursday in Clubhouse, we then also not just talk about the actual vocals itself in terms of how to look after it, but the whole connection, the expression, the energy, the passion, and connecting with your audience, within yourself. And also have a live coach as well. Actually, I was looking at Astrid thinking I want to invite you at some point. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, I'm gonna
That's
send
fine,
you.
no problem. I'm up for that.
I know you're ready, girl. I know. I can feel your energy, girl. I'm saying. Gotcha. You got me too.
It's funny how everyone can feel my energy even through the screen.
Yeah, man.
I think we've learned how to transmit our personas.
Yeah.
Beyond having to physically be in the same vicinity as a person, because they say we use less than 5% of our mind.
4% of our mind.
4%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So telepathy, etc., is not really out of reach. It's not really something that should remain in comic books. These are real things.
Real powers.
Yeah,
it's manifestation is the trending word, if we in that respect.
That is the trending word, yes. Yeah. Manifestation, yes.
Manifestation. Sometimes if you do think it and you believe it, you will achieve it.
Yeah.
One of the things that we overlook here, right? Is the power that we have when we're together, when we all become into synchronicity. Let's look at the female, for instance. As you know, like when you have a household of females, they may come from different areas or different places.
When they get moody all at the same time.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting.
Let's say they go through their woman time, right? And they synchronize that.
That's true. That is true. Yes.
Right? And that is. I knew you would do that. I knew you would do that. But no. But in honesty, right? That is the power that we have to actually influence each other. That is a normal natural thing.
Yeah. So I've noticed that men like to point out that women synchronize at a certain time of the month.
Yeah, and men.
Men move with the cycle of the moon, and you have
Absolutely.
I mean, we come together when the FA Cup is happening. That's when we.
That's right. Wow. When they start their things there, yeah, something like that. Because we're natural hunters.
I think that's one of the reasons why you're at the forefront of change today, because you, as ladies, you've taken on the mantle of things that really matter. Things that's going to really create change for us. Whereas we've sort of like got caught up in that testosterone area of this is my team, that is my team, look at my car, blah 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 blah, and we're not looking at what's really gonna help us and move us along.
I think where I stand with that is that the women that I have around me at the moment, rather than us all being in individual cars, we'd prefer to clump our money together and buy a coach so we can travel together.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good.
Whereas some of us would rather just have the big jag with the cigar and.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I watched Man on the Pavement.
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
That's how you know a man.
Drive by.
That's the retirement. That's the retirement thing that you see certain men get to a certain age, and you know when they draw for a certain vehicle on a Sunday and they pull off that dust sheet. They're like, yeah, it's essentially, I've made it now. I've got my
I'm waiting to take the dust sheet.
She knows.
I'm waiting to take that dust sheet off my XK8. It's sitting in the garage, right? The tires are flat. Yeah, it's just waiting for me to give it a nice little buff.
That hurts my soul.
Yeah, and drop the top and spin out in the aisle then and watch everybody.
That's all right. I'll be behind you in my ST Sport with my big exhaust brat, 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 as I come down the road as well. With my big bass box in the back, with my seat low.
I love it.
You know,
listen,
one arm like that.
You know when a man just say that, look, and it's a sad thing, right? But you know, it's true. Right, we do love our cars, man. We do love that's not like our little kingdom.
That's our big
men.
That's what
not just men. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Not just men.
There are some women who like their cars too. Not me, but there are some who like their cars.
I'll be honest. Yeah. If someone said to me, I could have a Bentley or a husband, which one do you think I'd go for?
The Bentley.
The husband.
Bentley, you know. Bentley. Well, if it drive you good, go ahead, girl.
I'm gonna get more pleasure out of riding the Bentley as I would then riding that man. Trust me.
Oh yes, man.
Hey.
Poor G. He's saying that is in our 1980 Tipo, man. Oh no. Listen, man. When you drive that Tipo, right, make sure all we can see is your knuckles. You understand? That's why I see your knuckles. That's all I say. Just knuckles. We can't see your face.
You got to have your flags so we know where you're from, so we know to target you. Okay, if you're from a small island, we know exactly who to target. That's what we do. We must display your nationality and your flag. That's what someone told me. Oh, you've got Jamaica, but isn't your dad from Barbados? I was like, yeah, I don't want to be a target.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, we have to bid YouTube goodbye. Know that we will be in the green room, but can you say goodbye to our YouTube crowd tonight?
All right, bless up.
YouTubers, we love you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
That's it. That's it. Send us all. Ciao, ciao.
Have a good weekend, people. See you on 15 Minutes with DJ Countryman and Rudi Lickwood, 10 p.m. 10:15 tomorrow morning.